What's up everybody, you're watching Poot's Garage. This week we're gonna go over a whole bunch of oil. I got a bunch of things to discuss about different types of oil that we're gonna be putting in this project. We're talking engine oil and gear oil and just different things that I like to do. And then we get to reveal the paint on these. You ready? Ah, just kidding, not yet. Stick around later and I'll show you. Hey, before we get too deep into this video, we gotta cover something. We gotta get to the maps that are behind me. So what we do is you call out where you're watching from and I'll put a red pin on the map on your location. This week we got 14 of them to cover, so let's get to it. First up is Wasilla, Alaska. Next is Denton, Texas. Then White River, Arizona. Our first Nebraska pin goes to Table Rock, Nebraska. Stagecoach, Nevada. Gardner, Massachusetts. Fogglesville, Pennsylvania. And our first Arkansas with Bentonville, Arkansas. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Howard Lake, Minnesota. This one's for the whole state of North Carolina. And we're knocking out another state. This is the first for Delaware with Laurel, Delaware. Mesa, Arizona. And last, we are coming all the way from Cebu, Philippines. All right, that's all the pins for this week, but we still have 5 states that don't have any pins. So if you're watching from one of these states, you better speak up. Indiana, South Carolina, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Hawaii. So let me know. And also, no matter where you're watching from, let me know. Your city, your state, your country, your county, whatever you want to represent, let me know. Well, first off, today is St. Patrick's Day, so I finally did corned beef and cabbage and all that good stuff, so that's pretty good. It's actually the first time I've made it, and probably the first time I've ever actually had it, so stuff's pretty good, I'll admit that. And I didn't have any Irish whiskey on hand, so we went with the Scottish. I got some, I think this is Glenlivet 12 from Scotland. It's not bad. Ireland, Scotland, same thing, right? Next is, I'm actually playing with the new camera today. This is actually an old camera, but I'm gonna try to use it a little bit to hopefully give me different options for having multiple cameras going and stuff like that. So this is actually a really old Canon G16. It should work good. It's probably fairly fresh, barely ever been used, I'm assume. This was actually my aunt's when she passed away. It was part of her, I don't know, estate or whatever you want to call it. So my dad had it, so he gave it to me. I'll give it a shot. I'm not sure what the difference is in the different Canon cameras. I'm using a Canon right here, but this is the G7X and this is a G16. I think this is actually an older generation camera than what I'm currently using, but they also have different purposes. This is like more of a picture type camera, but it seems to have pretty good specs for video and stuff. So I'm gonna try and give it a shot doing different things. The only downfall this one really has is it doesn't have the flip up screen like the one I'm using right now. So I can't see myself if I'm talking to myself, you know, like, so I can't see where I'm at in the picture and stuff like that. And I'll show you real quick what I mean. And this is this camera here. This is the G7X. It's not focusing in very well. This is the G7X that I'm always using. So it's got the screen that can flip down so you can see from the back, or you flip it up and you can see yourself. And that's what we see. I can already see a few differences on this new camera that I'm not too happy with. Like, it picks up light different, I believe, than this one. These are known to be really good in like lower light situations, so they really pick up light a lot different. This one here, I can tell almost, it looks a little darker on everything, so I'm gonna have to play with that a little bit and see if I'm gonna like it. And then the flip up screen is kind of a big bonus on that camera, so I figured I'd use this camera on things that I don't need to see myself on, you know, like I'm behind the camera. That'd be kind of cool, so I'm not flipping cameras around and moving mounts. But I need to compare the sound on the two to make sure they kind of match each other, so that the sound's not going all over the place and different things like that. And then I also noticed that this camera that we're on doesn't have a touch screen. I really like my touch screen on here. Maybe it's a setting on here that I need to set up. So nope, I have no idea if a touch screen works or if it even has a touch screen. So it's kind of annoying trying to flip through menus, where this one here I can just touch screen and do things real quick on it, and I can focus in just by touching on the screen what I want it to focus on. I can't seem to figure that out on this one. So we'll see. Maybe this will be more of an outdoor camera or something, but we'll play with it. This video is going to be kind of an experiment with this, so we'll see how it turns out. So last week we pulled off the diff covers on this truck, front and rear, Dana 60 front, 14 bolt rear, and I cleaned them up and I was in the process of repainting them, and I gotta show you what those look like. It's pretty incredible, I think. I did something a little special, and I think it's kind of funny, but it's kind of neat. I don't know, we'll see how that works out. But this week I'm gonna finish cleaning up what's on the truck. I'm not gonna make a video on that. I'll just do that off the screen here, and then I wanna go over some oil things that I bought oil, and I kinda had to do a little research again to kinda refresh my mind on some of this stuff too. So this is all the oil that I purchased. I went down to Summit Racing and bought all this stuff, and this stuff is very expensive because everything I want is kinda like slightly specific, and yeah, Jesus. But anyways, this is what we're doing. So first off, I'm gonna show you the engine oil. We are gonna change the engine oil on this thing before we get it going here, just so I know it's fresh in there and whatnot. I don't remember when the last time I changed it was, or what's even in there right now. So for engine oil, I started using this Lucas Hot Rod and Classic oil because it has the high zinc. I know a lot of people like to use the diesel oils and stuff like that, but I've even heard that diesel oil is using less and less zinc. So we need the zinc on these older motors with the flat tappet cams and stuff like that. So if you have any of these older motors, start finding oil that has the zinc in it like that. All the standard oil doesn't have any of it anymore. And the next is what we're putting in the differentials. So normally I throw like 80-90 in there on just about anything I ever do, just kind of my go-to. But I decided to try something a little different, and they actually gave me the wrong one too, but we're gonna use it anyways. So I was kind of doing a little research on what's recommended for axles these days, and since these are big heavy-duty axles, I noticed a lot of the new heavy-duty stuff is using 75-140 gear oil. So that's what we're using. Only problem is I ordered 75-140, but they gave me 85-140. I didn't notice till they brought it home, but I'm gonna run it. It's close enough, and I'm not gonna run all the way back to Sparks to exchange it or whatever they would want to do. So as far as I know, I don't know the oil viscosities all that well, but it's like basically a temperature range that it can handle. So this basically is better at higher temperature type stuff. So when it's under heavy load, the bearings aren't cooking themselves and the gears are staying fresh and all that stuff. So since this is going to be a wheeler and it is going to be beat on a little bit, I guess we should probably put something a little better in it. So we are going to use this more expensive stuff. And then we go over here and we have this oil. So this is just a 80-90 oil, but there's something special about this stuff too. So something else we got to do with older vehicles now, it seems like, is we got to use GL4 gear oil. All the new stuff is GL5. The GL5 stuff says it's compatible with all GL4, transmissions and stuff like that, but a lot of people are having issues. So GL5 is corrosive to brass components inside of your manual transmissions and transfer cases. And corrosion is bad, like especially on your synchros and stuff. You start getting, people are having a hard time actually shifting their transmissions if they put GL5 in some of these older transmissions. So you got to stick with the older stuff, the GL4, and it's actually getting kind of hard to find, I noticed. There's not a whole lot of it out there. So I found this brand on Summit Racing that was selling it, and it was in stock, so we have the right GL4. That's definitely going in the old SM465 transmission I got. In previous videos, you'll notice I mentioned I actually have a Synchro NP205 transfer case, so there's actually some sort of a synchronizer in there so I can shift on the fly. It's kind of a specific deal, but it's not great for that transmission. I would rather it wasn't that, to be honest. But since it has a synchronizer in there of some sort, and I don't know, I didn't research how the synchro works or anything, so we're gonna put the GL4 in the transfer case also. And that's pretty much for oil. I just wanted to mention that, use GL4, not GL5, GL4 on your older transmissions, and use high zinc oil on your older engines. Well, I figure I better give you guys something here, so I'm just cleaning all the nuts and bolts right now for the covers, They got old RTV and different things on them, and so I'm just soaking them in some brake clean. Give the old rattle around, trying to separate the front and the rear, keep everything all copacetic and all good. So we are looking good. Got videos from the off-road record games are starting to show up on the TV, so I'm watching those. That's gonna be pretty good. I'm still watching videos of them getting ready to go to the record games, if you guys know what I'm talking about. What is that? Trailmator and Matt's Off-Road Recovery and BSF Recovery or whatever their channel is. All those guys, they're all doing the off-road record games down in Sand Hollow, I think it is. So that's pretty cool stuff to watch, so I'm kind of excited for those videos to come out. Also got the diff covers over here ready to go on. They are looking prime. You wanna see it? Nope, not yet. those bolts to dry. Actually, over on the heater over there now. While I wait for those to dry tonight, I'm not gonna do anything else. But I figured I'd get you on here and just let you know how the health of this community and this channel is going, and it's actually going really good. I'm like stoked with the way everything is going. Like, we are making so much progress every single week, almost every single day. I'm seeing improvements on the analytics and the views and the hours and the engagement from all of you guys. So if you're watching, you know, please like, comment, and subscribe. Every little thing you guys do, every little click and movement you make on that YouTube app there that you're watching right now just helps me out, because it gets me more noticed by YouTube. So anything helps a lot, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. So I appreciate that. I know I've probably already asked you guys to, you know, comment on your location of where you're watching from, which I appreciate that. I like hearing all this stuff, and I like putting the pins on the map. Pretty cool to see the trends on the map and where everything goes. But I am also curious, other type of content. I know the last few months, all I've done is square body content, and I got a Corvette sitting over there that needs some love, and I got to put some stuff into that. I got one major component that I need to put in that still, so it'd be cool if you guys could comment and let me know, like, are you okay if I start putting Corvette content up also? You know, I just want to make sure that I don't want to scare all the square body people away if I start mixing in other vehicles, because the Corvette is another project that I have, and it's a 2004 C5 Corvette, because I'm going to get to the point now where I'm going to start running out of things to do on this truck while I'm either waiting for something or I just can't do anything because I got nothing to work on, you know? Like, this truck is getting down there. I got to start figuring out the future of where I'm going. And I know, like, the second stage, like the first stage of this channel was like being in this garage, working on this stuff, getting this going. My second stage is going to be actually going out in public, basically, and actually using this stuff. So taking the truck out and actually four-wheeling, and that's going to be like a whole new learning curve for me, of like trying to figure out how to do videos of, you know, me four-wheeling, like, especially if it's only me. If I don't have a cameraman, it's kind of hard to get outside shots. So it's going to be a lot of, you know, setting up the camera and, you know, running back to the truck and do a thing and do this, and, you know, and then run back to the camera and get it and retrieve it, you know. So it's gonna be a lot of weird stuff, and I might have to get like a GoPro and different things. And I wouldn't mind getting a drone and start playing with one of those, you know. That'd be kind of cool if we start getting out in the desert and playing a little bit more. So that'd be really cool. But I got this Corvette too that I need to do stuff with, and everything is like, I gotta transition from just being in the shop here in this little garage. Like, I'm so set here, like, on how I do things in here when it comes to making videos, but I gotta figure out how to make videos outside now. And that's going to be a whole nother learning curve, because everything's just different than, you know, the angles, camera angles, and the lighting, and you know, just everything gets different when you're outside versus in this little room, you know. So yeah, let me know what you think about how we're doing and the direction that we're going to be taking this channel, and hopefully we will take this thing to the moon. And good morning, it's the next day. So since we have like daylight savings and a little bit extra daylight, which is a pretty nice thing to have these days, got all this extra light in the garage right now. I actually have something I need to do outside real quick. I gotta move some wheels and tires back out of here. So as you know, these are the old wheels and tires from the truck. So I need to get these back out of here now that we got some weather that's decent and it's nice and sunny out. So I'm gonna roll these out. I'm gonna throw them on the stock axle out there and get my jack stands back. Let's get back to these axles. So here we are looking at the front axle here. This is the Dana 60. This axle is in surprisingly fresh looking condition. I honestly believe that this is actually a fresh rebuilt axle, which explains why I didn't have any oil in it. Somebody rebuilt it, maybe it wasn't even on the truck, whatever, and they never filled it up with oil to reinstall it. But let me show you a little closer up. So if you look at like that, the whole center section looks very clean. The gears look like they have, even the center gears, the side gears and the spider gears there look like they have almost no wear on them, and everything looks really fresh. And then notice the ring gear, you can still see it has the mustard in there from setting up the gears. So this might be a freshly rebuilt axle, which is why I didn't have any oil in it to begin with. And then if you look way in the back there, if you can see that, there's an oil slinger back there. That thing is just spotless. So it's a good sign. I'm glad to see that. Now if this axle actually was in a truck, it would have been a military truck, you know, who knows what kind of use it would have got. It might have never even got put in four-wheel drive. It could have been in you know, surplus for, you know, forever, like who knows. So I don't know. And then I don't know if the military goes through and like rebuilds these things all the time for practice for the mechanics or what, but yeah, this is a very fresh looking front axle. I'm pretty positive that this is going to be a good one. When we come to the rear here, the rear actually looks pretty decent too, but you can tell it's been used. The ring gear, you can see it has some wear on it, and there's actually some surface rust on the teeth too, but hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. The locker looks really good, but like that spacer, whatever that piece is, and I don't know, there's some surface rust in there, but I'm not worried about it. It's not heavy or anything. It's just real light surface rust. This one had oil in it when I pulled the cover off, so I'm not worried about the bearings being messed up or anything on this one. So hopefully the bearings don't have any kind of rust like that. But no, this actually looks really good too. I'm happy. There was no chunks or metal flakes or anything floating around in there, so I am pretty confident in throwing this one back together too. So now that we know that the axles are decent enough to slap oil back into, let me show you the covers. But before we get to that, let's show you the bolts. Ooh, these are nice. Nicely refreshed and painted, ready to go, ready to get put back on. All right, are you guys ready to actually see the diff covers? Now, I did something a little crazy. I painted these with something that just kind of popped into my head. I think I've thought about this for a while for some reason. So if you know, my color that I've been choosing for this is orange, and I'm kind of trying to make it more of like a brand color, like the color of my channel type thing, so try and keep things orange, you know, like that. Kind of just a good color to pick. And so I had to do orange, but I didn't want big bright orange diff covers, so we had to break it up a little bit. So this is what we got. We now have the tiger stripe diff covers. Can't say I've seen anybody else do that before. And of course, half my friends gotta go, they're great! God, that was dumb. Why do I do that? Installed. We got the Tony the Tigers on. These things are looking fresh. I like it. It's gives you a little extra flash and a little extra bling. See, mixed with them nice new wheels, this thing's gonna look so fresh. And here we are into the rear. Big old tiger stripes. So, let me know what you guys think of this. It is definitely out there. I laugh every time I look at it too because it's funny, but it looks decent, I think. It's just a little crazy, but for now it's gonna stay. Now that we got the axle sealed up, I'm not gonna fill them up yet, just because I want to give some time for that RTV to cure, so I'm probably not gonna do it on this video, but we are gonna drain out this transfer case and refill it up. You see, I have a pretty significant leak on this thing already. It's coming out probably from that front output seal, but I'm not gonna bother changing that seal out anytime soon, so we're just gonna drain this thing and then put some fresh fluid in it, and then we gotta get up to that transmission up ahead of it and drain and fill that one too. So let's get at it. We are all drained out. Both these gearboxes are empty of their nasty fluid. Snug up the drain plugs on them, and then we just got to fill them up. So the transfer case is really easy to fill. It's just this plug right here. I got plenty of access to squirt bottles in there and stuff. But the transmission is going to give me a little bit more trouble because its fill plug is actually way up above this little ridge up there. I've already broken it loose with a wrench, so it's good. But there's not enough room with the exhaust and everything in the way that to just be able to shove a bottle in there and squeeze the fluid in. So I actually have a little hand pump that we'll use to fill that one up, and it'll just take a little bit longer. And of course, the last thing we need to do is just this engine oil. That's a pretty easy one. Drain it from the bottom, fill it from the top. We all know how to change oil, right? So I'm not changing the oil filter because we did that earlier this year when I did those oil cooler lines. I replaced that filter and haven't really ran the truck yet. I think I just started it up once, so we're good there. So just gonna drain this thing out and fill her back up. Alright guys, that's it. That's a pretty easy, relatively easy weekend. Didn't work too hard. So we got those diff covers on, painted, cleaned up, that's all good. Still got to put oil in the differentials, but transfer case, transmission, and engine are all oiled up and ready to go. Transfer case seems to be leaking even more now. So I might end up having to do that front output seal on that thing sooner than later. And then the axles, I wouldn't be surprised if pinion seals are leaking, whatever, I don't know. This thing just leaks, it's an old truck, but it's looking good. Let me know how you like those diff covers. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this week. I will see you guys next weekend.